What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and whatever time it is. Welcome back to another video with your man, Immersiaholic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to online battle number 3 for the divided Impera overall month for Total War Rome 2, otherwise known as Divide et Impera, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are once again matching up against my good friend Toxborg. I'll be leaving a link to his channel. Please do go check him out. He's a very immersive and cinematic style YouTuber. He does some very nice content regarding Total War, and I do not recommend channels lightly, so please do go say g'day and tell him your man Immersiaholic sent you. But in the meantime, we have Carthage versus Rome. One of the most classic matchups in the ancient world, and here we are with your boy Immersiaholic playing as Carthage. That's right, we actually ended up flipping a coin. He got Rome, I got Carthage, which I was happy with. Either one would have been fun. They're both amazing factions. They both have a lot of potential. Before we jump into the battle, I will show you guys my setup of my army very quickly, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the strategy and whatnot as we get into the battle, because this is quite a long battle, ladies and gentlemen. This was a very fun matchup, but it was very immersive and very slow. There's basically a bunch of different phases to the battle. We had a lot of skirmishing, a lot of back and forth, and then we had the final clash. This is basically a reenactment of the Battle of Zama in a couple ways, except my army is a little bit different to probably what it would have been for Carthage. And once again, I will reiterate, we don't really have any rules for these battles. The only explicit rule is not to snipe the other person's general. Beyond that, we're just trying to play fairly immersively and fun. And we're not really ultra competitive or anything, so if you come here expecting super high tier gameplay, this is not the place for it. But if you're here to have fun and enjoy some immersive, intense battles, then this is the channel for you, my friends. But now, let's talk about the battle setup that I have, or the army setup. So we have a Carthaginian citizen cavalry late version as my general's bodyguard. It's the lowest, the cheapest, I should say, out of all of the cavalry generals you can get. I'll talk a little bit more about why I got each unit, so right now we'll just list them off. We have one unit of African elephants. This is the most bottom tier elephant unit that you can get. Where is it? Down here. Yeah, 2,900, so quite expensive. We then have two mercenary Numidian cavalry units, followed by two Carthaginian citizen cavalry units, plus 4 units of Balearic slingers. We brought in a pretty significant contingent of them. And then serving as our main battle line, we have 6 Libyan Phoenician hoplites. These guys are pretty solid hoplites, just a little bit above mid-tier, almost mid-tier really. But yeah, they're very solid and will give us a solid battle line, which is very important for this battle and my overall strategy. And then we have 3 trashy Libyan infantry units to help support the main battle line, and that is it. We had 19 units, so just one slot was missing, and we will be using the warrior general trait, which gives intimidation perks for our general upon the enemy whenever I choose to use them. So ladies and gentlemen, now that we've seen the army I'm using, let's jump into the battle and we'll talk a little bit more about how it's happening while it's happening. So let's get into it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on the battlefield. Now, just very quickly, before we unpause this, I will show you guys my battle formation, and we'll have a very quick look at the map. So initially, let's look at the battle formation. We have our slingers at the front, our Balearic slingers, possibly one of the best slinger units in the game. Well, it is one of the best, possibly the best. Basically comes between them and the Rhodians. My thinking with these guys is that I want to use their insane range of 215 to take out any skirmishes that he has brought with him. Plus, I want them to do damage against his legionary units. I do only have 4 units, so they're not going to deal a massive amount of damage in terms of kills. But if I can focus their fire, I might be able to focus on one of his more elite legionary units, because these guys actually have pretty decent damage. They have a armor-piercing damage of 7, which is very significant indeed, plus a base damage of 6. So that's my skirmishing contingent, which is quite significant. It's going to be hard to use them though, because I do need the ground to be flat in front of them, and we have a lot of hills in this battle map. Behind them though, we have our Libyan Phoenician hoplite main battle line. Nothing special about that formation. They're just solid hoplites though. I saw their defense was at 19. Although actually I think it's typically 18, but did I give these guys one thing of experience? No, I didn't. I thought I did, but it does not list it. Okay. But yeah, these guys have pretty solid defense at 19, along with respectable stats across the board, but especially in the morale and their armor. An armor of 35 and a base morale of 46. These guys, statistically speaking, will have stats similar to legionary units in terms of defense. They don't have very good attacks, so they won't get a lot of kills. Dude, wrong way, bro. But anyway, yeah, I'm counting on these guys to last a very long time in a melee battle, which is a little bit too much to ask, probably, because I only brought 6 of them. On the right-hand flank, we have our Carthaginian citizen cavalry, just a solid, very solid melee cav unit, although it is one of the lower tier melee cav units I get, but it's still fantastic, all things considered, very cost effective. On the left hand flank I have all of my Libyan infantry units. These guys are very trashy, very low tier, but I'm counting on them to be used as basically trash anyway, so that's fine. My other Carthaginian citizen cav on the left flank, then I have my general's bodyguard in the rear, which is like I said, the Carthaginian late citizen cav. And I chose this because not only is it the cheapest bodyguard you can get that is still on horseback, but the stats are really, really good. A charge bonus of 49, an attack of 13, a weapon damage of 30. These guys are going to be doing very good on the charge, which is exactly the kind of units I need. Then in the rear up here, we have our African elephants, which I'll be keeping as far back away from the fighting as possible until I'm ready to swing them in. And then far to our front right down here, we have our mercenary Numidian cav. They're the only units that we really have hidden, so let's press play and see what happens. But for the most part, this is the main battle between the 3 battles that me and Toxborg have fought so far, where I'm not really hiding my formation from him. I want him to know where I am, so he comes out and confronts me, and I get that engagement that I'm looking for. So basically what I want is, I want his legionaries to engage me fairly quickly, but I want my slingers to use all of their ammunition first, if possible. Once they do that, they're going to fall back, then my hoplites come full, we get a very long grindy engagement, and while that's happening, my cavalry will hopefully win the cav war between my cav and his, and then we also have elephants that will obviously swing around and come in and do some serious damage. So for now, we're going to move forward pretty slowly down the hill. You can see the battle map is basically a massive slant of a hill going in my favor for the most part. And all I can see so far is just a few of these units down here. So it seems to me like he's probably using this mound and maybe that mound over there as his main areas of deployment. It's a very good spot, very defensive. I could have maybe come up here and used this hill to basically have a standoff against him. But I'm trying to bring him out on the flat ground. The flatter it is, the better my slingers will do. At least that is my thinking. But I'm starting to see a couple more units. We have a Marian first cohort here, basically the Eagle cohort of the Legion. Very large unit of 400 legionaries in it, legionaries. We have some basic low-tier chameleon slingers, not really much of a threat at all. We have some auxiliary units here though, and a lot of his army is made out of auxiliaries. We'll see a bunch of different kinds. This is the Aquitanian heavies. We have another set of Aquitanian ones over here, and then I'm seeing a little bit more movement of some metallic auxiliary spearmen. So I'm definitely worried that he's brought a lot of spearmen again, kind of like how we did in our first battle with Bactria versus Parthia. But anyway, this is a very long battle, so I'm going to cut out certain segments of it that are just me, like basically moving forward slowly and stuff like that, so you guys don't have to put up with the boring parts. But for now, we're just moving our whole army forward very, very slowly. My Numidians are doing some scouting along the edge of the map just to make sure that he's not trying to send something up the tree line against us. And that's all that's happening right now. Alrighty, so moving forward a little bit, I'm now starting to see that he has his cavalry on my left-hand flank. He has some Cappadocian lancers. These guys are just shock cavalry though. They're not going to do too well in an extended melee engagement. So now that I've identified where his cavalry is, at least some of it, I'm going to start rotating some cavalry to the left. And in fact, I've already rotated my citizen cav over here. I'm bringing over my other unit of citizen cav. And basically my thinking is I'll try to use my cavalry to deal with his, and I'll also use my Libyans to help support I was trying to micromanage my Numidians though, because I actually found his other cavalry contingent down here, which is 2 mercenary Numidians of his own. He didn't realize that I'd found them quickly enough though, so I was able to pull away while my cav were throwing javelins at his stationary Numidians. Although his unit actually did get a charge against my citizen cav, so I really messed up that micro there. I'm trying to flank around with my 2nd citizen cav here to try and get behind the Cappadocians. My Libyans are pushing hard through this forest. I want to stop this infantry from getting involved in a fight. So instead we're going to try and chase down this unit with both my citizen cav units here. 2nd one just gets a move order just now. I'm really worried about all this infantry coming in to support though, but I have to take out this cavalry unit. If we can take it out, then that means we have the cavalry advantage, which means Carthage wins. At least historically, that's usually what happened. I even bring in my general's bodyguard actually in the rear. He's coming up. He's trying to get involved. I'm really rotating a lot of cavalry around. And now that his legionnaires have caught up, I'm going to just instantly send my Libyans in to die. They should tie up at least 2 of his units, maybe 3, and this other one over here. And I'm more than happy for them to take the javelin fire. It's no big deal to me. Those guys are cheap and not really worth all that much. In the meantime, these Numidians are still just hanging down here around this edge of the tree line. I pulled mine back straight away because I don't want to have to micromanage 2 opposite ends of the battle. So I'm just having them hold up here in a very defensive position along with the main battle line next to them. Basically, I'm trying to really focus on this left-hand flank. So here we get a charge against these Cappadocians. My other citizen cav are flanking around. In the meantime, where did my general's bodyguard go? Oh yeah, he's chilling back here. I nearly committed him to the fight, but I ended up pulling back at the last minute, just because there was so much infantry up here. But we don't really need it. These Cappadocians are kind of screwed. He doesn't seem to have any cavalry in the area there to support. He doesn't have spearmen nearby, and his infantry are all busy chomping on my Libyans, which is fine to me. I don't care if I lose them. They're a pretty cheap basic unit, and that is exactly why I brought them to the battlefield. These Lancers, they're getting bogged down in extended melee, and this is something they really do not want to be doing. They're just not made for it. Do we get a route here? No, not yet. They're almost wavering. No, we have them down to yellow. Although one of my citizen units really got hammered by that charge. They're down to 58 men. My other unit's down to 89, so that's actually really rough. I have my general's bodyguard actually recharging one of the legionary units up here. He gets just 16 kills, which isn't a lot, but I'll take whatever I can get. And then I'm going to bring over my general's unit to hopefully get involved against the Cappadocians. I really need to take these guys out. I can't stress that enough. He's sending out more infantry to support, and then on the right-hand flank, I'm not really reacting too much to this, but I do notice that he is moving his Numidians along to the edge here. So I actually pulled back my troops a little bit, but I am aware that he is doing that, and so that will play a big part in the battle later on. In the meantime though, my general's bodyguard gets involved against the Cappadocians and finally swings the battle in our favor. I'm really trying to make sure that we don't get bogged down by the infantry, so I give a move order for all my cav to run away. We shatter the Cappadocians, which is fantastic. It means that they can't be a threat to us at all anymore. And now this entire flank appears to be open to whatever my cavalry want to do. He doesn't seem to have any more cav over here. All I know is that he has 2 units of Numidians over here in the far edge of the map in the forest. So now I'm going to pull back with my cavalry and try and get them back to the main battle line as soon as possible. Although one of my units is somehow getting chased down by some heavy-ass legionnaires. Oh man, that's really annoying. You'd think cavalry would be able to outrun a super heavily armored infantryman, but yeah, these guys, they just would not run, even though I gave them repeated orders to move. So we did end up taking a lot of our losses there, but we removed the cavalry threat on our left-hand flank, so that's fine by me. In the meantime, our main battle line is kind of just chilling here. I know he has units up here, but I also know he has units down here, and I'm not sure if he has any infantry down here as well, so that's why I haven't pivoted my line to basically face to the left, although you will see me moving it pretty shortly. I'm basically just trying to get my slingers in a position where I'll be able to deal damage to him before he can get into like a tree line or something. So if he pushed down from this hill here, he has to move up through this open gap straight towards my slingers. And here we are seeing that pivot, like I said I was going to be working on, where we'll be facing. Now this is starting to look like the center to me, so I'm still not entirely sure on all of his infantry units' positions, but that is basically my main line of thinking, that it has to be somewhere around that vicinity. There could be some down here that I don't know about, but it's looking like the majority of his units are up over here, around there. But I still am aware that there is some Numidians floating around here, although I haven't seen them cross here yet. So as far as I'm aware, they should still be down in that pocket, but we'll see just as time moves forward. In the meantime, my general's bodyguard gets out. He took one casualty, but he killed 27 men, which is pretty good considering he recharged legionnaires and took on those cavalry units. My citizen cav, one of my units is really wrecked, so what I'm going to do with it is actually just send it way up the back of the battlefield and try and use it to be helpful later on, while my other citizen cav will just be accompanying my general. And so now he is moving his entire main army towards mine, and I'm not really comfortable with this just yet because I know he has the Numidians out here. So what I'm doing is rotating all my cavalry from my left hand flank all the way down to my right, and I'm basically trying to box them in against the red line and wipe them out. Because again, if we get the cavalry advantage, then there's a very, very good chance that we end up winning the battle. My Numidians charge into his here. Do we get the charge up here? Yes, we did. We got the charge right there as well. And then my general and one of our citizen cav units is coming down to chase the rest of the Numidians. And if we can get them, this should be the last of his cavalry, at least from what I can see. They keep getting bogged down. Our Numidians are too fast. They don't let them get away. And now we're going to have our general's bodyguard here and our citizen cav charging in beautifully. Getting very, very nice charge against these Numidians. These guys are getting absolutely hammered. They're not meant for extended melee engagements. All the while I'm making sure my main battle line isn't being engaged just yet, because I need my cavalry available in order to deal with his infantry. But we're getting waivers on his Numidians. He's still kind of trying to pull them away, but then I use my general's ability to use some fear. We get one unit shattered off the battlefield. The other one is going to rout. I do try and get it shattered. And do we get it shattered? Let's see. Can we get it done? It's broken. Come on, guys. Come on. You're getting hit with javelins. Shatter, you bastards. Come on. We need you off the battlefield. Please. Please. Go. Mate, why won't you shatter? Little bug, as you can see, I have attack orders on my Numidians to try and get them, but I didn't want them to get stuck there. And did we get it at the last minute? I didn't get to see. I don't think we did. Nope, we didn't shatter them, so they'll probably come back to the battle. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. But it still looks like we're getting the cavalry advantage in this fight, which is exactly what I'm after. Now we can focus on keeping our formation intact, and I'm basically now trying to get in a position where my slingers can do as much work as possible. So at this point, his units are within my range of fire, although for some reason my slingers were refusing to fire. I had them turned on at fire at will because I could actually see that that unit looked like it was within my range of fire, but it just wasn't working for some reason. So we're basically having a little bit of a standoff here. I'm trying to make sure he doesn't send units over to the right hand flank, so I'm making it obvious that my Numidians are coming down here. Hopefully that means that he won't send any troops up here, because I really don't need him to outflank me. Even though we have the cav advantage now, he still has a massive amount of infantry, and they're all pretty solid infantry. They're Roman legionnaires. These guys are some of the best infantry in the game, and he has way more infantry than I do. And because of that, he could instantly just rush me, engage my main battle line, and then just overwhelm my flanks very, very quickly with his other infantry. So now we're actually sending out attack orders on my slingers to focus fire on his slingers down here and give me the skirmishing advantage. These skirmishers aren't even returning fire at this point, but they don't have enough time to anyway. They're just getting absolutely mauled. Down to 129 men, and they still haven't used any of their ammo. The Balearics are just absolutely destroying them. These guys have no armor at all, and they're outside of the forest right here, actually, so they're not getting any protection from it. We get them routed off the battlefield. Just that simple. Very, very nicely done, and that will help us out massively. I have my cavalry presented here just to basically show that I have support on my right hand flank, even though really if he pushed up with these infantry, they would easily deal with my cavalry. There wouldn't be all that much that I could do, so I'm basically keeping these guys here to try and intimidate him to not want to outflank me. But now he's flanking me way on my left-hand flank. He's sending a lot of units around, so it seems like he's catching on, that he understands that I don't have all that much infantry. I have a scouting unit up here, my really hurt citizen cav unit, so it sees all these infantry coming. So that was super helpful for me. I'm going to pull them back up into the forest so they can keep scouting out my left-hand flank. But the reality is that my left-hand flank is completely open right now. My right-hand flank has some support, but it's really looking quite rough actually, despite us having the cav advantage and the skirmishing advantage. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling back way up the hill here so my slingers have even more time to deal more damage to his legionnaires. That's basically what I'm really relying on right now, is to use my slingers as much as possible, wear down his men, and kill any skirmishers that he has brought. We can see he has one slinger over there, and then one more down here, and then we routed that other one. So it seems like he just brought 3, although I thought it was 4. No, it might have just been 3, but yeah, he has these split up, and they're too far back behind his infantry for me to be able to target them effectively, so that's going to suck. And you're going to see me giving out specific attack orders with my slingers shortly. As we do continue falling back up the map though, I'm going to rotate my cavalry to my left-hand flank to try and isolate 1 or 2 of his units. They're up here in the forest right around here now, just around there, and that's really concerning to me because again, I don't have the infantry to help deal with it. So I'm basically sending all this cav up here to try and scare him into backing off so he doesn't get recharged. My right-hand flank is now exposed, but we're also pretty close to the red line. That wasn't intentional. I didn't want to be like forced into the corner and feel like I was corner camping. I mean, we still have heaps of room to get outflanked up here on the left especially. We're pretty far away from the corner, but I still have to pull backwards. I have to let my slingers get engaged and deal some damage to him. Otherwise, we're just kind of screwed. So it's not ideal. It's not what I wanted, but right now we're getting a beautiful attack order on these slingers down here. And hopefully we'll be able to rout them. Let's see how good our Balearics can do this time. Right behind the enemy general, by the way, which is just a Praetorian unit. Just on foot, which is interesting. You never really see that. They are coming forward along with the rest of the entire Roman army. But these slingers, man, they're not even getting any ammunition off. They're just getting absolutely cut down. The trees aren't really helping them because they're out here in the open, technically, according to the game, so these guys are just not receiving any cover benefits right now, and no armor means that they just die as soon as they get hit, so that's super helpful. My left-hand flank is still looking super iffy, although me kind of bluffing with my cavalry does help, and he ends up pulling back his infantry, and I also send a Libyan unit down into the forest. So for now, we've recaptured this section of the forest over here. How useful it's going to be, I don't know, but it's at least delaying his push. That's what I need to do the most right now, is delay, let my slingers deal as much damage as possible before we get the engagement going. And that's why you're going to see me pull all the way back to this edge of the tree line. So this is perfect for me here. This means that pretty much my entire army will be in the forest, or at least some foliage, which will give us cover against these skirmishes. Plus, it means that he has to run across a lot of open ground over here to get to my main battle line. So if we can get him running across it, it means my slingers will get even better shots upon his troops. So that will be super helpful. You can see on the far left, I'm sending forward my little scouting party way up and around. I'm trying to figure out just how much skirmisher units he has. I can't really see. All I know is that he had 2 skirmisher units that I've annihilated, and now there's another one floating around here. Although now you're seeing an attack order on these legionary units. And we're attacking the first cohort, otherwise known as the Eagle cohort unit. These guys inspire nearby units, so if I can get them off the battlefield, or at least severely damaged, then that will really help me get his men routed off, because that's what I have to do in this battle. I can't kill them all. He has better units than me. He has a lot more units than me. I simply can't beat him on a kill to death ratio basis. So what I have to do is scare his units off the battlefield. So if I can take care of this first cohort right here, then that will stop his troops being inspired, and then I just have to kill his general and any other units that do have the inspire ability. However, now he's starting to get sick of my slingers dealing so much damage, and so he's going to push very hard here. On my left-hand flank up here, my Libyans are about to get engaged. They have some cavalry support, but nothing really all that substantial. The right-hand flank is pushing hard against me, and I'm rotating one of my citizen cav units back to try and help deal with that. In addition, where did they go? I'm trying to look for my elephants. Where the hell are they? Here they are on my left-hand flank. That's right. We pushed them way back up to the back here, but they're still in a position where they could wrap around and be helpful. We're now engaging here on the left-hand flank with my Libyans. They're charging into a cohors Ligurum unit. Yeah, charging into 2 cohors Ligurum. So basically, some Ligurian auxiliary infantry units here. My Libyans are going to get annihilated. I know that, but I'm just trying to slow him down again. Trying to let my skirmishers do their thing. Again, he continues his push across the entire main battle line, although he's not doing it really quick enough. He should be engaged in my main battle line by now, and then just sending up these spear units up my flank here, and then that would have overwhelmed me super quickly. You can see I'm giving another combined targeted attack order with my skirmishers. My slingers are attacking just a legionary unit here. I probably could have saved it for something a little bit better. But this legionary unit has very good stats compared to most of the auxiliaries. And where is his, the first cohort? Oh, they're up here at the front. So I have 2 of my slingers attacking that, and then my other 2 slingers are attacking the legionary unit. His slingers have come back, but one of them's still really damaged, and the other one is just a basic levy slinger unit, so I'm not too worried about it. However, now the main battle is really about to commence. These legionaries are getting up into position. They're about to throw all of their peeler at us. Our hoplites are about to get demolished. We are all in phalanx ability right now, though. We're just waiting to receive the charge of the Romans. Here comes the peeler. Boom! Smashes into our lines. Absolutely terrifying. An insane amount. Hundreds of peeler are coming at us, and now we're receiving a charge across the entire main battle line. Here's his general's bodyguard, his Praetorian unit right here getting involved at the center of the main battle line. The first cohort is coming up here, and it's so massive it's actually attacking 2 of our phalanx units at once. Furthermore, further along on our left-hand side, we have even more auxiliary legionnaires coming in and attacking one of our phalanx units. It's very isolated out here, so it could easily get surrounded. My Libyans were annihilated back there, and now I have another Libyan unit here doing a delaying action while my slingers try to get some kills while they still can. I have my cavalry up here behind these units. However, I've rotated my elephants now back to my right-hand flank because he's doing exactly what I said he should do earlier. He's pushing hard on my right-hand side. I have my general's bodyguard, a citizen cav unit, and my elephants up here. I have to get my elephants behind his main battle line and slide them down here somehow. So that's what I'm going to be working on with that. Unfortunately, my main battle line is a little bit awkward because he isn't engaging me everywhere. I have this single hoplite unit that's kind of being wasted right now. I really wanted to try and engage it into one of these other units, but if I move it left or right, then it's actually going to end up getting caught out and surrounded. So instead, I'm just going to give up this little line here, use my slingers to come in and fill the hole if I need to, but I'm actually going to rotate them all the way up to my left-hand flank because he has units coming right at me, and there's nothing I can do to stop them right now. Meanwhile, on the right-hand flank, I'm trying to do my elephant push through. I've sent my cavalry into a bit of a suicidal charge against these spear legionnaires, but in the meantime, my elephants are just barely sliding by without getting stuck on these spearmen. And now that they're behind, we're setting them up for some beautiful rear charges here. They will be recharging into some completely experienced and disciplined legionnaires. However, a rear charge of elephants is still a rear charge of elephants. I'm using my general's ability to instill fear in the enemy Romans. Hopefully it's going to be enough to get them routed. We get a very solid waver right here. Hopefully we can get them off the battlefield, and boom, we do. They're broken. Now, I don't even need to chase them down because they're right next to the red line. Now it's time to move my elephants back down the hill and get them circled around this clump. My general's bodyguard is trying to help this hole in our main battle line, stop the enemy from coming in. Meanwhile, on the left-hand flank, things are very, very desperate. I have my slingers engaged in some of his auxiliaries. I have my hoplites coming down to try and shore up the gap that my Libyans are about to create. He actually has his own slingers getting engaged in melee here. But my cavalry has been recharging his slingers and some of his legionary units. Although my cav is not very good on the charge. They're basically melee cav and Numidian skirmishers, so they won't be doing amazing. However, back on the right, our elephants get another awesome charge and rout another unit off the battlefield. Boom, they get annihilated. However, he still has excellent units very close by. So I have to move my elephants back up the hill right here. And then we'll be trying to circle them back around for more rear charges. Here comes our general's bodyguard unit. About to rear charge into some of his Roman legionnaires that circled around one of our holes in the line. Boom. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Annihilates a bunch of legionnaires right there. They were behind our hoplites, but they shouldn't have been. They took some very heavy casualties there. My general's bodyguard now up to 86 kills. I wanted to bring my elephants back down around here, but I noticed that he was starting to rotate units like this auxiliary unit right here to try and counter it. So what I'm going to do is try and shore up this left-hand flank that is getting absolutely annihilated. So our elephants will be heading up here into the forest, and then the plan is for them to come down around and try and help out my slingers who are about to lose their engagement. My hoplites are still holding across the entire battle line, by the way. Even this single unit down here, it's actually doing pretty good considering it's actually surrounded. My Numidians are starting to do some rear charges though, although now he's using his general's, I believe that's the 10th Legion ability, where he gets like unbreakable morale for a little bit, short amount of time. My general's bodyguard is still coming in with some rear charges, although he does turn his legionnaire unit around. And he gives them an attack order so they don't get annihilated on the charge, but they're still taking casualties. I lose my Numidians finally. I now have no more cavalry besides my general's bodyguard and my elephants. My other units ended up getting routed after doing rear charges of their own. My elephants are up here, and now they're finally in position to come in to try and save my slingers. They get an excellent charge into these Ligurian auxiliaries. Who's going to rout first, the Ligurians or my slingers? It's super, super close, and the Ligurians run off the battlefield. We don't have any time to sit around though. I'm already moving my elephants to try and get some more kills, out to 113 kills. We don't even have time to set up a rear charge. I know my slingers are about to rout, and so instead we just give an attack order on the enemy Ligurians. Maybe a bit of a mistake. If we got a charge, it would have been more devastating, but I'm just trying to do that morale impact. I realized the charge wasn't good, so I pulled out my elephants, and now we'll try and cycle them back again. Meanwhile, back down on the main battle line, he's actually pulled infantry units back from my own main battle line. I still have my hoplites here in the center, though. I'm trying to make sure his infantry units get engaged because I don't want them running around my battle line and coming up and trying to focus on my elephants. It's a little bit risky that my hoplites moved out of formation here, but I really have to make sure that my elephants are free to roam. This entire battle now hinges on my elephants doing all the work. My general's bodyguard is still rear charging this Aquitanian heavy auxiliary right here, and these guys are just absolutely tanking my general's bodyguard's charge. He has 143 kills, and this unit is still just chilling here. They're just invincible. They're very, very useful. I now lose my entire right-hand flank, though. The enemy spearman and legionary combination is way too much, and they're now starting to wrap up my right-hand flank. My center is still holding. My left is okay. And now we get a breakthrough on the left-hand flank. My elephants managed to rout his Ligurians. We're now charging into his Marian legionnaires. A beautiful charge, along with the general's ability to intimidate them. The general's bodyguard even charges into some cohorts del Matarum, some Illyrian heavy auxiliaries right there. I know I pronounced that perfectly, don't worry about it. Elephants get another unit routed off the battlefield. I'm rotating my hoplites straight away. My general's bodyguard gets a unit routed off the battlefield. We're actually going to chase these down a little bit to make sure that they shatter, because there's no red line behind them, not for a very long time, so that's a little concerning. However, my right-hand flank has been entirely annihilated, and so I'm rotating my slingers to try and slow him down. I'm starting to bend my line to form up to go basically horizontally like this, going left to right across the screen right here. He's pulling back his own units as well, so we're basically reforming this entire battle line right here in the middle of the fight. You can see I'm giving commands to my units to try and form those battle lines before he engages my infantry. My general's bodyguard up here, I gave an attack order here. I don't know why I did. Maybe that was a misclick, but I shouldn't have. That's a really bad one. Yeah, wow, look at that. What a mistake. Oh no, Measureholic, you idiot. What are you doing, dude? I mean, that unit was pretty messed up, so I might have been trying to route it, but wow, how risky was that? Wow, that was really cringy, guys. But the main thing is that I'm distracting his units so from being able to do anything about my elephants. We still have all of our elephants. They have 189 kills. He is giving attack orders with his infantry, and when I see those attack orders, I'm just moving away and ignoring them. And I'm going to try and push forward with my hoplites. Do I even get them out of phalanx? No, not yet. If I did that, they might have been able to catch up, but either way, I'm just going to ignore units that he's giving attack orders to because I don't want my elephants to get bogged down. So instead, I'm basically trying to come down this direction, so hopefully his legionary units will come here to try and intercept, but then I see his general is right here, and he's yellow, so he's at the tired stage now. It won't take too much to get him routed off the battlefield, so we're coming in with a devastating charge right here into the legionnaires. The Praetorian Guard themselves are fighting the Carthaginian phalanx, and our elephants come in and do some devastating charges. I have my hoplites getting out of formation to try and give support to my elephants. In the meantime, my elephants are literally hunting down the enemy general now that he's in our main battle line mix. Things are getting super intense here. Men are getting thrown across the battlefield, friendlies and foe alike. And finally, we get the general routed off the battlefield along with one of the Illyrian auxiliaries. We have my general's bodyguard coming up to support my elephants. We've managed to also rout an Aquitanian unit. He has another unit here about to rout. We have some separated Roman units up here, so we're going to try and move our elephants out of the field and get them up behind them so they can get some rear charges. My general's bodyguard is still doing the same. 255 kills on our general's bodyguard. That's insane. That's awesome. Elephants are at 322 kills as well. Super impressive. These guys are still completely alive. We have all of our elephants still intact. He has multiple units here that are on the brink of routing off the battlefield. However, he has more units that are coming back from routing that I wasn't able to shatter. I did try to, but I had to rotate my cavalry, so it just was not possible. So in the meantime, my elephants are going to have to win this battle for us very, very quickly. We're coming in with some nice charges against the... what unit is that? Vagionian Heavy Auxiliaries, whatever that is. Okay, there you go. Oh, the Vengionians. There you go, from the Rhine and the Danube. Some Germanic style some Germanic style auxiliaries right there. They can't handle elephants. They're not used to them in that area. And then we get routes across the entire battlefield. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, the elephants of Carthage win the day for Carthage. Wow, what a battle that was. GG's to my man Toxborg. Again, links will be down below to his channel. Now, very quickly, let's go to the stats screen so we can check out the kills and the KD ratio overall. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, what a victory that was. It was a Pyrrhic victory, and to be honest, rightfully so. We lost over half of our army. 1,700 men died. We killed almost 2,000 of the enemy, though, at 1,959. A lot of kills on both sides here. It was a very close fight. We did have a lot of our hoplites left at the end of the battle. However, hoplites are not going to be killing all that many. You can see here the highest killing hoplite we had was 109 men in that for that unit. I mean, 109 kills for that unit. Now, to be fair, a lot of my units did get some solid kills, and a lot of their men were still alive. You can see the health bars are still in the greens for most of my hoplites, so that means that they were definitely surviving for a very long time. In the meantime, though, my Libyans, they got absolutely no kills almost at all. To be honest, I'm surprised they got as many as they did, though. These guys were basically fulfilling the role of holding down some of his infantry while I was able to recharge them. And for the most part, they did that pretty good. They allowed me to do some delaying actions on my left-hand flank. Pretty happy with how these guys were, although perhaps I could have brought out a cheaper main battle line and then used a better version of the Libyans, or just a different unit entirely. But the Libyans didn't really make or break the battle at all. Our Balearic Slingers, they got kills, but it would be nice if it was more. 115 is a good amount, 96 is okay. 67 and 68, that's not really good enough. I need more kills from my Balearics to warrant bringing in so many Slingers to a fight. I usually never use Slingers in battles. I really don't like them. I'm an archer man. I really prefer using archers, especially long-range ones. So I thought I would try and do something different here for Carthage. It is fitting to use the Balearics with Carthage. But yeah, they got important kills, granted. They killed a lot of the legionary units from the legionary unit down here. They got 146 kills. They also hammered the enemy skirmishers. They basically were non-existent. Only one of his skirmish units got 32 kills, which is pretty pathetic. Although that's a very cheap unit, so it's not terrible, but it's pretty bad. And his first cohort, or the Eagle cohort unit here, got only 46 kills, which is really, really bad. And it suffered down to half strength before routing off the battlefield. So that unit, despite it looking awesome, and it actually has a cool ability that gives morale to nearby allied units, I don't know what it is about that unit, but it really dies quickly in almost any kind of battle. I've seen some people talk about it on the DEI Discord, where it might have something to do with the fact it has 400 men in the unit, which is very uncommon. In fact, I don't think there's any other unit in the game that has that many. But yeah, that unit just wasn't as useful, and my slingers were definitely responsible for hammering that first cohort unit for sure. My citizen cav units did not get many kills, however they played their role in getting me cavalry dominance on the battlefield. They tied up his Cappadocians that only got 61 kills, which could have been way higher if he got the cav advantage. So I'm pretty happy with my citizen cav units. I just wish that I didn't mismicromanage them so badly. My Numidians, one of them did fantastic, getting 257 kills. That's quite a lot. I'm not sure where all of those kills came from, but a good chunk of them came from killing his Numidians as well. My other unit got 69 kills, pretty happy with that. Again, my cavalry played the role that they needed to, which was annihilating his cav, and basically creating room for my elephants to do their thing. And they did their thing in spades. 371 kills alone on my elephant, plus they're entirely at full strength. That elephant unit could have kept going for quite a while. We were able to protect it from his skirmishers and cavalry very nicely, and because of that, that basically won us the battle. Our general's bodyguard unit did fantastic though, 287 kills. So combining the rear charges of my general's bodyguard along with the elephants, that's basically what won the battle for us right there. My Libyan Phoenicians did exactly what they needed to, which was hold the line. One of our units got outflanked. I think that was the unit on the far right. This unit was on the far left, and they got annihilated. But that's fair enough. They were on the flank. They got surrounded and taken on. It was like a 3-to-1 basis for those units, so fair enough. But I'm pretty happy with this main battle line that we used. I was surprised how well it worked. But yeah, he brought out a very nice army against us. It's just we got kind of lucky with spotting his Numidians early on, and then isolating and destroying his Cappadocians. And then his slingers, we were able to stop them from being effective against my elephants. So because of that, I was able to micromanage my elephants without having to stress out too much about it. And we got some beautiful rear charges, and it was just way too much for the infantry to handle. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to join me personally in some online battles, please join the Discord, which will be linked down below. I have some very limited free time, but what free time I do have, I dedicate to creating content here. So I would love to do some online battles with some of you guys. Join the Discord and you can see there how you can get involved in some online stuff with me. In addition, we are also currently voting on the next faction that we'll do a Let's Play campaign on. So if you want to have a specific faction in DEI showcased on this channel, go there and vote right now. Or if you have any suggestions that are not listed in the voting, please feel free to throw them at me. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle, and I shall see you in the next one.